Everyone, I'm Dr. Beena. Today's topic is revision on the ketone body metabolism. The important questions came for university in ketone body metabolism is describe the reactions of ketogenesis and its regulation, a five-mark question. Then name the ketone bodies, describe the process of ketogenesis. It is the condition that leads to ketosis, another five-mark question. Sometimes it can come as an essay also. So, metabolism of ketone bodies. You know, the carbohydrates are essential for the metabolism of fat, or fat is burned under the fire of carbohydrates. The acetyl coenzyme formed from fatty acid can enter and get oxidized in TCA cycle only when carbohydrates are available. During starvation and diabetes mellitus, acetyl coenzyme takes an alternate route and form the ketone bodies. So usually the ketosis develop during starvation and diabetes mellitus when there is no carbohydrates available. Now we'll pass on to the ketogenesis. So before that you have to write about the ketone bodies. What are ketone bodies? There are two types, primary and secondary ketone bodies. The primary ketone body is the acetoacetate, and the secondary ketone bodies are beta hydroxybutyrate and acetone. Then they are synthesized exclusively by the liver mitochondria. Now the steps of ketogenesis. First step is the condensation. Two molecules of acetyl coenzyme condense to form the acetoacetyl coenzyme by the enzyme acetoacetyl coenzyme synthase. So, acetoacetyl coenzyme is formed in the first step. Then one more molecule of acetyl coenzyme is added to the acetoacetyl coenzyme to form the HMG-CoA, or beta hydroxy beta methyl gluteryl CoA. The enzyme is the HMG-CoA synthase, and the mitochondrial HMG-CoA is used for the ketogenesis. There is another one in the cytosol that is used for the cholesterol biosynthesis. So mitochondrial HMG-CoA is used for the ketogenesis or the ketone body formation. So, here you can see that acetoacetyl coenzyme again combines with one more molecule of acetyl coenzyme to form the HMG-CoA, and in these steps. Now the third step is the lysis, that is the HMG-CoA is lysed to form the acetoacetate. HMG-CoA lysis is the enzyme which is present only in the liver. So the HMG-CoA, by the action of HMG-CoA lyase, it is converted to acetoacetate and acetyl coenzyme. So this enzyme is present only in the liver. Next step is a reduction step where the beta hydroxybutyrate is formed by the reduction of acetoacetate. So the first primary ketone body is the acetoacetate, and then from the primary ketone body, the secondary ketone body, that is beta hydroxybutyrate, is formed by the reduction utilizing NADH plus H, and the enzyme is beta hydroxybutyrate dehydrogenase. Then from the primary ketone body acetoacetate, the acetone is formed by the non-enzymatic spontaneous decarboxylation to produce the acetone. So the acetone is formed from the acetoacetate by a non-enzymatic and spontaneous reaction where the carbon dioxide is removed. So this is the overall pathway where the first two acetyl coenzyme condense to form the acetoacetyl coenzyme. Then it is again one more molecule of acetyl coenzyme to form the HMG-CoA. Then HMG-CoA is lysed by the HMG-CoA lyase to form the primary ketone body acetoacetate. Then it is reduced to beta hydroxybutyrate and it is decarboxylated to produce acetone. So you have to write the flow chart when you are asked to write about the ketogenesis. Now we will pass on to the ketolysis. What is meant by ketolysis? Ketone bodies are formed in the liver, but they are utilized by the extrahepatic tissue. That is an important point. Even though it is produced in the liver, cannot be utilized in the liver, and it is utilized in the extrahepatic tissues. The heart muscle and the renal cortex prefers ketone bodies to glucose as their fuel. But tissues like skeletal muscle and brain can also utilize the ketone bodies as an alternative source of energy if the glucose is not available. So, skeletal muscle and brain can utilize the ketone body when there is no available carbohydrate. Almost all tissues and cell types can use ketone bodies as a fuel with the exception of liver and RBC. So, liver cannot utilize the ketone body. In the extrahepatic tissue, how the ketone bodies are utilized for the energy. For that, an enzyme thiophorase is used, and the reactions is that acetostate combines with acetyl coenzyme A, acetostate combines with succinyl coenzyme A, which is the intermediate in the TCA cycle, to form acetoacetyl coenzyme A and succinate in the presence of the enzyme thiophorase. Then the acetoacetyl coenzyme A enter the beta oxidation pathway to produce energy. So in the beta oxidation pathway, it is again converted to acetyl coenzyme A, which then enter the TCA cycle and produces energy and the carbon dioxide. So this is the diagram where we can see all the metabolic pathways. That is, precursor is the acetyl coenzyme A in the liver, then it is forming ketone bodies. Normally the ketone bodies are either acetone is exhaled through the lungs, and the ketone bodies will be small quantity. What is formed is excreted through urine, and it is passing through the blood and reaching the extrahepatic tissue where it is utilized, and finally it is converted to acetyl coenzyme A, and that is going to the TCA cycle, and it is producing energy and also releasing carbon dioxide. So this is the normal metabolic pathway of ketone body is in our body. So there is no excess amount of ketone bodies in the blood. Whatever formed is either excreted through urine or it is utilized in the extrahepatic tissue. So there is a balance between the formation of ketone body and the utilization in the extrahepatic tissue. Only very minimal is seen in the blood, and that too is excreted in minute quantities in the urine. Normally, we can't detect the presence of ketone bodies in the urine. Now, what are the conditions of ketosis? What do you mean by ketosis? Normally, the rate of synthesis of ketone bodies by the liver is minimal. So, they can be easily metabolized by the extrahepatic tissues. Hence, the blood level of ketone bodies is less than 1 milligram per deciliter. So, the ketone bodies are not detected in the urine. It is present, but it is not detected in the urine. Very minimal is present. But when the rate of synthesis exceeds the ability of the extrahepatic tissues to utilize them, there will be accumulation of ketone bodies in the blood. So first there will be accumulation of ketone bodies in the blood. The condition is called the ketonemia. Then if there is excess production in the blood, it will be excreted through urine because it is an water-soluble substance. So it is excreted through urine. That condition is called the ketonuria. And there will be exhaling the acetone through breath. Whenever there is excess production, more of acetone is exhaled through the lungs, and so there will be a smell of acetone in the breath. All these three together constitute the condition known as ketosis. That is, ketonemia, ketonuria, and smell of acetone in the breath produces ketosis, a condition called the ketosis. Now, what are the causes of the ketosis? First one is the diabetes mellitus. That is, untreated diabetes mellitus is the most common cause for the ketosis. So there is deficiency of insulin causes accelerated lipolysis. You know, the insulin inhibits the lipolysis. So when there is insulin deficiency or resistance, there will be accelerated lipolysis. Lipolysis occurs in the adipose tissue where the mobilization of free fatty acids are occur, which is released into the blood circulation, and it is going to the mitochondria and getting oxidized to and produces acetyl coenzyme A. So whenever there is oxidation of more production of acetyl coenzyme A, But the oxidation of acetyl coenzyme in the TCA cycle is reduced since the availability of the oxaloacetate is less. So you know that in diabetes, the oxaloacetate is used for the formation of glucose, and so the availability of the oxaloacetate is less. So the acetyl coenzyme cannot enter the TCA cycle for the production of energy. Instead, they accumulate in the blood and then it will be converted to ketone bodies. That is, two molecules condense to form the acetyl coenzyme, then it forms the HMG-CoA, and finally the ketone bodies. Now in starvation, the dietary supply of glucose is decreased. The available acetoacetate is channeled to the gluconeogenesis. So when just like diabetes mellitus, the oxaloacetate is diminished because it is utilized for the gluconeogenesis. The increased rate of lipolysis is to provide the alternate source of fuel. The excess of acetyl coenzyme is then converted to ketone bodies, and so just like diabetes mellitus uncontrolled, there will be increased production of ketone bodies in the body. That is, by high glucagon favors ketogenesis, and the brain derives 75% of energy from ketone bodies under these conditions of fasting. So brain utilizes ketone bodies for its energy during the fasting state. So that time there will be high glucagon, which is stimulating the ketogenesis. Now another conditions where ketosis occurs physiologically is the hyperemesis gravidarum. That is, during pregnancy in a primea, that is first pregnancy, some ladies will have a repeated vomiting. That is called the hyperemesis gravidarum. That is usually seen in early pregnancy, that is first trimester, that in first 3 months. So that may lead on to a condition of starvation, and that may lead to finally ketosis. Just like starvation, there will be a reduction in the oxaloacetate. So acetyl coenzyme formed by the mobilization of free fatty acid and beta oxidation will go to formation of ketone bodies. How this ketogenesis occurs usually. During starvation and diabetes mellitus, the blood level of glucagon will be increased. Glucagon inhibits glycolysis, activate gluconeogenesis, and it also activates lipolysis and stimulate the ketogenesis. So high glucagon insulin ratio is potentially glucogenic. That means more glucagon is present, that is ketogenic. Insulin has an opposite effect. It favors glycolysis, inhibits gluconeogenesis, depresses the lipolysis, and decreases ketogenesis. So if the insulin is present, then it will decrease the ketogenesis. The ketone body formation is regulated at the 3 levels. So we have to mention the regulation also along with the synthesis. So first level of regulation is at the level of lipolysis. That is, precursor of ketone bodies are actually free fatty acid. When the free fatty acid get oxidized, acetyl coenzyme are formed, then that will form the ketone bodies. So mobilization of fatty acid from adipose tissue will influence the ketogenesis. The factors which increase the mobilization of fatty acids will increase the ketogenesis also. That is glucagon. When there is fasting, glucagon will stimulate and it will produce ketogenesis. And diabetes mellitus, insulin deficiency is there. Again, inhibition of lipolysis is removed. So there will be excess lipolysis and more of fatty acids are released. Insulin inhibits lipolysis while glucagon favors the lipolysis. So in diabetes there is insulin deficiency, that is why it is promoting lipolysis. Glucagon favors the lipolysis. Second level is the entry of fatty acids to the mitochondria. That is the level where the regulation occurs. The mobilized fatty acid then enters the mitochondria for the beta oxidation. So carnitine acyltransferase 1, that's CAT1, regulates this entry. So malonyl coenzyme is the major regulator of the CAT1 activity. So it is used mainly as the stimulator of fatty acid synthesis, but it is a inhibitor of the CAT1 activity. So in diabetes and starvation, glucagon is increased, which decreases the malonyl coenzyme. So the CAT activity is increased, so that will produces more of acetyl coenzyme and the ketone body formation. Next one is the oxidation of acetyl coenzyme, the level where the oxidation of acetyl coenzyme is occur. When the above two steps, that is at the level of mobilization and at the level of the CAT beta oxidation are increased, more of acetyl coenzyme is produced. Normally acetyl coenzyme is completely oxidized in the citric acid cycle. In both diabetes mellitus and starvation, the oxaloacetate is channeled to the gluconeogenesis. So, the availability of the oxaloacetate is decreased. Hence, the acetyl coenzyme cannot be fully oxidized in the TCA cycle. So, when the oxaloacetate is diverted to gluconeogenesis, citric acid cycle cannot function optimally. Thus, on the one hand, acetyl coenzyme is generated in excess quantity. On the other hand, its utilization in the TCA cycle is reduced. So, this excess acetyl coenzyme is then channeled to the ketogenic pathway. So, that is the level where it is regulated. So in this diagram, you can see the levels where it is regulated. The first one is the lipolysis, and the second one is the CAT level, where the beta oxidase inhibition is by the malonyl coenzyme. Decreased malonyl coenzyme will stimulate the fatty acids oxidation and produces increased beta oxidation and produces more of acetyl coenzyme. So then at the third level, that is increased gluconeogenesis, will decrease the oxaloacetate. Then that oxaloacetate, when it is decreased, there is more increased generation of acetyl coenzyme, and then there is decreased utilization in the TCA cycle that will again produces ketogenesis. So you have to draw this chart so that you can explain the regulation very easily. Now, you know what is ketosis. So, first you have to write ketonemia, ketonuria, and smell of acetone in breath. Then you have to write the conditions, that is diabetes mellitus, starvation, and the hyperemesis, three main conditions, how they are formed, excess ketone bodies are developed in this case. Then you have to write the salient features of ketosis. That is, first one is the metabolic acidosis. Acetoacetate and beta hydroxybutyrates are acids. When they accumulate, the metabolic acidosis results. Then second one is reduced buffers. The plasma bicarbonate is used up for buffering these acids, so that there will be naturally decreased bicarbonate level in the blood. Then third one is the Kussmaul's respiration. Patient will have a typical acidotic breathing due to the compensatory hyperventilation. So whenever there is acidosis, there will be a compensatory mechanism by which lung compensate for this acidosis. So there will be increased rate and depth of the respiration, which is called the Kussmaul's breathing or respiration. Then there will be smell of acetone in patient's breath. You know that whenever there is excess production of ketone bodies, acetones will be released, which will be exhaled through the lungs. So that naturally there will be a smell of acetone in the breath. Then osmotic diuresis is induced by ketonuria, may lead to dehydration. So during osmotic diuresis, water is lost, so the dehydration occurs. Then sodium loss. Ketone bodies are excreted in urine as their sodium salt, leading to the loss of cations from the body. So sodium hyponatremia may occur. Then there is dehydration, because sodium loss further aggravates the dehydration. Along with sodium, water also is lost through the urine large quantity, so dehydration occurs. So the dehydration and the acidosis are contributing to the lethal effects of acidosis, that is coma. So usually coma is a lethal condition. Usually if not attended, death may occur due to the ketoacidosis. Now how will you diagnose ketosis? The presence of ketosis can be easily established by the detection of ketone bodies in urine by Rothera's test. You know, Rothera's test is used to detect the presence of ketone bodies And then again you have to do some supportive evidence maybe derived from the estimation of serum electrolytes so that you can get an idea about the sodium, potassium, chloride level and also bicarbonate. So an acid-base parameters pH and bicarbonate level by ABG machine, and then estimation of glucose in the blood so that you can get an idea whether it is due to diabetic ketoacidosis or due to starvation ketoacidosis, and also urea estimation to see the conditions of kidney. Now, how will you differentiate between the diabetic ketoacidosis and the starvation ketoacidosis? The urine of the patient with diabetic ketoacidosis will give a positive Benedict's test as well as the Rothera's test. Both will be positive because it is a condition where the diabetes is there. But in the starvation ketosis, Benedict's test will be negative and the Rothera's test will be positive because due to starvation, there will be hypoglycemia, and so there won't be any sugar in the urine. And if you do the blood test also, level of the glucose will be decreased. Then the management. Treatment is to give the insulin and glucose. When glucose and insulin are given intravenously, potassium is trapped within the cell. Usually when the insulin and glucose is entering to the cell, then that time there will be potassium also trapped within the cells that will naturally produces hypokalemia, which is also a dangerous condition. So hence the clinician should always monitor the electrolyte to see whether there is hypokalemia or hyperkalemia. Both are dangerous. Then administration of bicarbonate is another method of treatment to compensate the loss of bicarbonate. That is reduced buffer bicarbonate will be there during the ketoacidosis. So to correct it, administration of bicarbonate, maintenance of electrolytes and fluid balance by giving either sodium, normal saline or dextrosaline like that. And these are all the important point in the management of ketoacidosis. So you have to write the ketogenesis, ketolysis, and the regulation of the ketone body metabolism, and also study about the ketosis and the condition which causes ketosis. So that's all about the ketone metabolism. Thank you.